What phase of your creative hobby are you in right now? I was thinking about phases when it comes to life. I was kind of reflecting on the seasons of my life and how I might categorize, myself and kind of what season of life what phase of life am I in right now compared to 5 years ago or whatever. And I realized that this actually applies quite a bit to our creative pursuits and the hobbies that we have or wish to have and wish to grow in. And so I wanted to present just basically this new idea, see if it lands with you, but 5 categories or 5 phases that kind of dictate or I guess more communicate to where we are at in our life when it comes to a specific hobby. So think in your life as you're listening to this list, think of the one creative endeavor in your life, the one hobby that you have that it is absolutely part of you. It's hard to explain. It's the thing that is the most you when it comes to creativity. Whatever that act is, whatever that endeavor is. For me, that has always been filming and editing. There are other creative things that I have been able to explore, but when it comes to the thing that I want to be known for as a creative, that is something that we can kind of, as we look at this, kind of frame that out. Yeah. So I hope this is helpful. Again, this is just kind of something that I'm thinking through. So I'll walk through all 5 real quick here, and then we'll talk about each one. So the 5 phases of a creative hobby are as follows: newbie, learner, builder, teacher, and mentor. So let's break down each one. Newbie is someone who's brand new, right? You are brand new to a creative hobby. Maybe you saw something on social media and you were like, I want to try that. Maybe you just got inspired one day and sat down and you're like, I'm going to paint today. I'm going to write today. I'm going to do something creative. And you've never done it before. You've never dabbled in it. And so you're new. You're a newbie to this whole experience. And you have a lot of excitement, even though you don't know anything about it. There's a simplicity, honesty to your excitement. I think excitement is great. If you've ever met anyone who gets easily excited about things, they have a lot of ideas, but not necessarily the most follow through. So I think in this phase, what's missing is essentially the follow through or the proof that this is a hobby that you're going to enjoy. This is a hobby that's going to become like part of your identity in the future. And so for now, you're just trying something out. I think also in the newbie phase, you're very susceptible to the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is basically this idea that when you're starting out with something new, you know so little about the field or the area of creativity that you're practicing in that you are going to think that you know more than you do. And you have this this false sense of ego and this false sense of know-how. And so the Dunning-Kruger effect is just kind of this idea that when you start in something new, you think that you know more than you do. I think the newbie stage is a great place to be because that excitement will carry you. It may not get you through to the next phase. I think for a lot of people, we experience starting a hobby, trying something out and go, okay, that wasn't for me, but I'm glad I tried it out. I'm glad I dabbled with it, or I'm glad that y'all over here enjoy that hobby. So the second one is learner. The learner is committed to developing the craft. So moving from newbie to learner is a commitment, a resolve to go, wow, I really like doing this. I think I'm pretty good at it, and I want to explore more and keep going. And so that's the idea with the learner. And usually the learner has some sort of goal in mind. There's something more than just the excitement from the newbie phase. There's a little bit more. So you've gotten into this creative hobby. You want to learn as much as you can. You have this commitment. And usually setting a goal is kind of the main part of this phase. Maybe it's multiple little goals, but there's something in it for you where you're going to keep going. I remember when I was really little, my parents signed me up to play the fiddle. And yes, the fiddle, I know people laugh when I say that. They're like, don't you mean the violin? No, because the fiddle is called a fiddle when it's playing bluegrass. And I played bluegrass music and I was 6 years old. And so I, after a little while, realized in my 6 or 7-year-old mind, like, nah, I don't like playing the fiddle anymore. So I set a goal in sort of an agreement with my parents. Hey, I am going to play this one live performance. It was at like a bluegrass night in our community. I'm going to play this one performance and then I'm done. And I had kind of set the goal. And that's a unique thing, but maybe for someone in the learner phase, they're not sure how committed they will be, but they know at least they want to set some goals with this creative hobby and they want to learn as much as they can in that amount of time. So that's what's cool about the learner. I think most people with a creative hobby are probably in this phase. If I had to just say, like, let's just say 50% of people are probably here at any given point in time. And this phase can last for a long time. And that's another thing that we can talk through is like, how do you know you're in that phase and how long should you be in that phase? I think the learner phase is something that, if you want to achieve sort of this mastery, you're going to be in the learner phase for many, many years. So after that is the builder. The builder has made this hobby, this creative endeavor, a really big part of their life. They are fully committed to this. As I was reflecting on this concept, that was the word that stuck out to me, is the word builder. And I was like, I think I'm a builder when it comes to video and editing and stuff like that. Some of the stuff that I'm doing on this channel. The learner phase is you're learning about the craft, you're learning about the skills, you're developing all of those things. The builder is taking that knowledge and building something out of it. They're creating a life out of the skills that they have acquired, or just the ability that they have to do this hobby. And they have the skill set and the tools and the reps and the desire and all of that comes with it. So the builder wants this hobby to be a part of their lifestyle. No longer is it something that they go and do. It's something that they have brought much deeper into their life. And so it's part of their lifestyle. And I think the builder phase is probably another big chunk, 30, maybe 40% of people, maybe more like 30% of people that are really committed to a hobby are in this phase. And so I think that's a cool phase to find yourself in. Most people will have, in my mind, you may have 2, 3, 4 hobbies in your life that you would be able to get to this phase, just because it takes so many years, I'd say at least a decade, of the learning phase to be able to move into the builder phase. So then we move into the teacher. The teacher is committed to helping others discover what they love so much. So once you've built this hobby, this creative hobby, into your life, that's part of your lifestyle, you may get to the place where you want to be teaching others. You may want to be helping others enjoy and appreciate this creative expression as well. So the teacher can kind of exist within these other, if you may still be a learner and you want to start teaching others. You may be in the builder phase and you also want to start teaching others. I think teaching is more of a mindset, less of a phase, but I do think it's important to note because the teacher wants to help people who, they're in the newbie or the learner phase, especially when they look back on how they first started. Maybe there was a lot of struggle. That newbie phase, they're like, how do I get into this hobby? And now it's such a big part of their life and lifestyle. They go, I don't know what I would do without this creative hobby. I have to help others discover this as well. I have to help those who are on the journey. And so that's what's so cool about the teacher phase, is it can kind of come at any point to a certain extent. And it's just the strong desire to go, wow, this creative hobby has changed me and I want it to change other people in the same way. And then lastly, we get to the mentor. The mentor lives out their craft. It has become part of who they are and what they're known for. I think of people later in their life who are known for something. They're a creative person. Maybe it's they've built a business out of it, they built a career, but not necessarily. It could just be that they love this so much, and it just kind of oozes out of every part of them. Like it's so much a part of who they are that they can't help but just walk in this mentorship. And the mentor isn't necessarily just a better teacher. So the mentor doesn't necessarily approach the teacher mentality. Like you could move from builder into mentor and never fully be in the teacher phase. Maybe that's just not your desire. But the mentor naturally helps others become like them through their everyday life. So the mentor is just going to exist within their creativity. And when someone comes along who has that same interest or wants to learn, they're going to teach them, but not necessarily through a formal teacher application. They're just going to be like, hey, this is how I do my creativity. This is how I live my life. This is how it's part of my lifestyle. Follow me as I do this. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'd love to know where this lands with you. Again, there is an order to these, but I think the timeline isn't necessarily linear. I think there are aspects in creativity where we're going to be in the learner phase for a long time. Maybe you move to the builder. Maybe there's a little bit of overlap there where you're in those phases. Maybe you want to go and teach others even while you're still learning yourself. There's so much that, flexibility in this kind of framework and this idea of phases for a creative hobby. But anyways, this is just an idea that I had thought of. I would love to know how this lands with you. What phase do you think you're in? What phase in your creative hobby? Maybe you have a couple different hobbies that you are pursuing and creative gifts that you are trying to stoke and build up. And maybe you find yourself in a few different places. It can be comforting, I think, to find yourself much further down the road in a creative hobby or expression, because it gives you confidence that you could start over, pick a different hobby and start over and be the newbie, and it's okay, and age doesn't matter, and experience in other areas doesn't matter. It's okay to start something new. And so yeah, hopefully this framework, these phases kind of help you out. My name is Tristan. One of the things I love is just helping creatives understand who they are and pursue their unique God-given gifts. So I hope that this video helps you a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and stay creative.